Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at two more Puffin Forest shorts. Today we are going to be looking at Call of Cthulhu RPG, which, considering Ben's usual, I guess we could call it the patented Puffin Forest dickishness, Call of Cthulhu is probably a very good choice, because it basically requires him to do exactly what he normally would. And then we have Creepy Horror RPG, which I didn't actually know was a thing, that Call of Cthulhu was a horror RPG, but apparently this is different. It's called Secrets of Skeleton Town, whatever. Yeah, we'll be doing those two. Now, I will fully admit, other than knowing Call of Cthulhu is about Cthulhu and that way lies madness, like that's literally the entire Cthulhu mythos right there, I kind of know nothing about the practicals of that actual format, so I'm going to this one blind. Also, I don't do horror, so I know nothing about whatever the Skeleton Town might be because I am a coward. Yeah, I actually considered skipping over this one because if I didn't know Puffin Forest was really funny and enjoyable, I would avoid it because I cannot stand horror. I am that much of a coward. It's a thing. So we're just going to jump right in. You guys know the deal. Link below, original video. You already hit it up? Great! Let's get started.
Call of Cthulhu is a particularly dark game that focuses on
It's
investigative
Cthulhu, so
mysteries
yeah.
and supernatural horror.
Basically
Explaining
what
the
I thought of.
mechanics of Call of Cthulhu a bit more. In that game, you have two healths. Mental health and physical health.
What?
Physical health you get back slowly.
Oh,
but
health.
Mental
Health. I thought you
when
said
it's
physical
gone,
and
you
mental
never get it
health.
back. Unless your keeper is nice, which
Maybe
I
accurate.
think I'm kind of nice. I guess I'm a little bit nice. It's a very brutal setting for combat. So in Call of Cthulhu, when the plotline dips south, all players check sanity. If a player fails, they start panicking and become unplayable for several rounds.
Oh god, seriously?
Very easily can be crippling. Also, it is not a balanced system for combat. Combat's not the point. But anyway, if you get shot by a bullet from, like, a gun,
Yeah?
you could die from that. Like, you only have 8-ish hit points, and they do, like, 2d6 plus 2, and some can fire multiple times in a round.
So minimum
and you can
4.
maybe 2 hit points a week in the hospital.
Oh.
So if you get shot with a bullet and you happen to live,
Okay,
you're
so
going to
apparently
be
it's
in the
a
hospital for
technologically
while,
advanced
which is
setting that
why
they can
a lot
do
of our
bullets.
Call of Cthulhu sessions ended up with a lot of
Everyone
players
dying?
in the hospital for weeks to recover, because it's trying to be a setting with realism. I learned this the
I
hard
mean-
way when I realized, wait a second, why don't I run a Call of Cthulhu game, but like Indiana Jones themed with
What?
Nazis, all set in the 1930s. And then I remembered, oh yeah, the Nazis all have guns and bullets, which they're gonna fire at the players, and they might actually hit one of them. And what are you gonna do? Which
Yeah, that sounds
doesn't
about right.
often make for the most fun play experience. Some players like playing a character who's not capable. Others don't, to put it mildly. Also, sometimes players like playing just regular dude, like a librarian, an
Seriously?
athlete, a construction worker. Sometimes, but importantly,
They don't?
not always.
I'm seeing a
Another
pattern
thing,
here.
I did not figure this out until the few sessions later, but I had been doing sanity calculations wrong.
What?
Just a heads up, little tutorial for people who are
No, no, not
characters in
math.
Call of
Not
Cthulhu.
math. Oh god,
When
no.
it says your sanity score is 10 times 5,
50?
that means multiplied by. So
Yeah.
the sanity score would be 50, not where we thought it was 12. So just a little math.
I'm sorry, but I'm not a math major. I'm a freaking English major. What? Just... Puffin Forest was a chemistry major. He was a freaking practicing biochemist. I have questions. Or he was playing Call of Cthulhu as Cthulhu, because apparently this is damn crazy.
Math tip from Puffin Forest.
Actually, that makes
The
sense.
helpful tip: 10 times 5 does not equal 12. Just in case you're wondering if it did.
That's
not.
as dumb a joke as
What's
that would make.
interesting
so.
also about Call of Cthulhu is the setting that Cthulhu is based on takes a lot of the convention that we have about mythology and science
Yeah?
and turns them on their head.
Oh?
In many mythoses, God is good. It is us humans that are dark.
Yeah,
and
when you look in the
depraved
Bible,
and
though,
violent, and these higher
Angel said, "Do
powers
not be
that are
afraid,"
above
because
our
you were
vices.
freaking afraid. They
In
were
Call of
terrifying.
Cthulhu, it's the opposite. Humanity is the sole source of goodness and sanity, and out there in the darkness are these horrendously evil and powerful gods that corrupt man and use them for their own purposes.
Sounds like 40K,
which make our battles
which
with
is
them
probably what they were
futile
based on, so,
because they
yeah.
are immortal and we are not.
Yeah.
And many of the gods aren't even from Earth; they're from other planets. which makes our planet seem even more worthless and insignificant. Usually plots in Call of Cthulhu are more about outmaneuvering the cult or trying to prevent some aspect of evil that's forcing its way through into our reality.
Oh god, they did. He just put a JoJo reference in.
We're gonna lose.
Oh,
Humanity has a fixed time, which investigators give their lives to push back day by day. But one day, humanity is going to fail. Cthulhu's gonna rise up, and eventually everything that we've built will be lost. It also has an ironic view of science, that you shouldn't learn too much about the world. It's a setting where us as humans will eventually cause our own downfall if we know too much. The idea that the world operates on logical, understandable principles is a lie we tell ourselves because we mentally could not cope with the reality. And if we did find out, it would cause our society to collapse. So our only protection is ignorance. Okay. Burn the books that contain the dark secrets. Don't let anyone read them. Here's an excerpt from a short story from H.P. Lovecraft.
Cthulhu?
The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far.
Why is there a T?
The sciences, each straining in its own direction,
Geology.
have hitherto harmed us little.
They pretend they're
someday,
science.
The piecing together of disassociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality and of our frightful position therein that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. That's the introduction to the story, The Horror in the Clay, one of the canonical stories about Cthulhu. The tale is about a relative who discovers that his granduncle passed away. While looking through his relative's things,
this is why I don't do
he finds
horror.
strange notes and clay hieroglyphics. He starts to discover that many people have been having nightmares about a place across the sea, in a lost city with a frightening creature that towers above them. It seems
as
like
much as I can't do horror, though, I do appreciate the Cthulhu mythos.
Poets,
not so much the inherent racism of Lovecraft, but the actual setting itself is interesting.
He discovers similar dreams coming to people in Asia, Africa, Europe, and across the world that suggest that there is something sending visions to people which correlate to these strange earthquakes that have been occurring on the same day every year and pretend about a coming doom. It's the idea that there's this old god who used to rule the world, Cthulhu, but went to sleep in his city of Relaya, and one day
the name Relaya.
He's gonna wake up
that was Relaya,
all screwed when he does, and it's his dreaming madness that causes strange things to happen in the world. Anyway, that's Call of Cthulhu.
That's even worse when he's awake.
I used to run a lot because it was unique from our usual sessions.
Oh.
Not for everyone.
Got the sparkle eyes.
Not heroic setting, paper-thin characters, but on occasion I think they make for good stories.
If you
get a chance,
definitely want to lose in the most disturbing way possible, yeah. Okay, so that was the Call of Cthulhu video, and I can't tell if I want to play that setting because it sounds really cool, like the really dark, disturbing, dystopian presence of it. Or if I just go play 40k and because I have a greater grasp of the mythos, and it's a little, honestly, less depressing because you could actually fight the darkness in that one. Or you Call it Cthulhu because it would be kind of cool to say, hey, I got a gut, it'll do things. Probably not because, well, one, I actually don't know that much about Cthulhu mythos. By comparison to my knowledge of 40k, which is, okay, completely undeservedly large at this point. It's kind of embarrassing how much I know about that. Yeah. But I'm actually surprised that he would admit to making those sanity checks wrong, because I'm pretty sure if anyone from those campaigns watched this video, while they would have known he did that and been very mad at him, they would probably have realized that they were still mad at him because that was probably very dickish, and he probably had them fail a lot of sanity tests. So he probably got a lot of messages in the comments down here. It's like, hey, Ben, I remember. Watch yourself, Ben. I know where you live. And then they just probably don't actually know where he lives because that would be weird and creepy, and that would be really disturbing. So hopefully they wouldn't say that, but it's probably was said to his face by people who actually know where he lives in person because they're there. So, yeah. I'm just saying he's braver than me because I would never admit to that in a, public forum. It's not like I ever say things that are embarrassing or incriminating on YouTube. If anyone from my family is watching this, please stop watching in case I say anything. I'm screwed, aren't I? Yeah. So we're going to jump in. This one is Secrets of the Skeleton Town. And I think I remember the elf character here he did from his 4th edition video. So, oh god, this might be a 4th edition story. Oh, I get it. The horror isn't the skeletons. It's that they're in skeletons in 4th edition. Oh, God, really? Sorry, I just did that, and the dog downstairs started howling. Oh, my God. I didn't realize my voice was that bad. Let's get started.
When I first got into RPGs, Dungeons & Dragons was my staple for a long time.
Yep.
After a while, I wanted to get into an RPG that was flavored differently.
Oh, so it's not going to be
something
4th.
other than maybe, generic fantasy.
Yeah, don't sniff too hard, dude. It goes right in your
Call
mouth.
of Cthulhu, which had paper-thin characters you could make in a few minutes.
Oh, that's
and just
Cthulhu in
like
the background.
Paper, on contact with water, they'd shrivel up and die. It's a horror RPG, and in most horrors, it usually follows characters who die one by one.
Yeah.
Our first story took place in 1923.
In Alaska?
In Alaska. Our private
When
investigator,
did Alaska
Dick
join
Tracy,
America anyways?
and engineering student Walter were hired
I
out
should know
by a
that.
family because their son, David, who was in university, had gone missing.
Oh, he
David
dead.
studied Native American history. In his research, he had found out that there were some strange rituals that ancient Native American tribes had performed at a mountain and traveled there to see if we could uncover any secrets.
I wonder if it's going to be real
that he
Native
hadn't
American lore they
returned.
wrap into
The
this.
players tracked the missing
freaking
person
Wendigo,
to
man.
Copperton, a town far away from any civilized cities. With no roads
Granted,
in the
most of my
wilderness,
knowledge of that is just
they had
from
to take dog sleds out
Jim
to traverse
Butcher,
the
but
wilds.
yeah, it counts.
After 2
sled
days of
dogs.
eventless travel across the featureless landscape, they arrive in the city of Copperton, a mining town. It's out in the boonies,
Dude, this is
blocked
dark.
on all sides by silent mountains.
I love his narration
The
style when he's
town
actually being
is very
serious.
quiet, and the players see no one out on the streets.
So this is what he sounds like when he does
A
an
thin
actual
veil of
narration in
snow
campaign,
passes
isn't it?
across the town like a soft paintbrush,
It's actually really
dusting
good.
the roofs with white powder.
I'm used to him doing more of the jokey
wander
stuff,
the
but this is
abandoned
actually really
streets.
distinct.
Their footsteps echoing out with no response. They enter into the general store, calling out, "Hello?
I have a feeling something's about to happen that's going
Hello?
to be stupid.
Is anybody in here?"
I hope. I
The
like
two
stupid.
break down the door and go into the back room. A wardrobe had been moved to block the doorway. The
That
players
slides?
get spooked when they notice a skeleton slumped on the floor. Well, I guess you could say someone had skeletons in their closet. Seriously, though,
No.
you think the owner killed someone?
Yellow
and stuffed
shirt
them
has the
into his
right
closet?
idea. Coat,
Searching
whatever.
the bunkhouses next.
More
the players
skeletons?
saw a similar sight. Several sets of bones on the floor. Seems like maybe someone's been killing people and hiding the bodies around town.
Not really hiding them, it
After
seems.
searching for hours, they notice a house that is boarded up, with wood planks over the windows and doors. The boards appear
How
to
come
be
the
nailed
people
out
boarded
from the
inside are dead?
The players knew that they had to get to the bottom of this mystery and knocked aside the wood.
Really? Because I
breaking
would
in.
consider running
The
very
house
far.
was pitch dark. They hear muttering coming from the back room and explore to find a man rocking back and forth,
Hey, he's not dead.
covered tightly in a blanket, looking up at the ceiling. He didn't acknowledge the group, just saying to himself,
They come at night, and they take everything. The noises that they make.
and he continued to look up at the ceiling.
Every night, they come again. They're
Okay,
coming
sure.
again.
You can hang out in here. We'll be
You're bait.
here if you need us. A soft clap of thunder echoes across the sky.
Ooh, nice sound
It
effect.
seems like there might be a storm coming on the
Even
horizon.
it's still rumbling in the distance.
It's
I
starting
like
to
that.
get late, so they decide
use
to
the
rest in
sound
the
design.
town for the night. Even though this guy is crazy, he seems to be the only one who's okay.
He
Well,
did it, didn't he?
physically. So this house may be supposedly safer than anywhere
So I'm guessing
else.
this is built on the
They decide
Cthulhu
to stay the
mythos.
night with him. They take the dog to
Yeah, I
the
think that's
barn and
he
close
said
them
this
in.
was specifically that
The
format.
sun's head sinks below the horizon,
Huh.
and it turns from dusk to night. The players
And this is
roll up their
Alaska, so
blankets,
that would be
light
a
fire,
long night.
and try to fall asleep.
Because if it's not, it's a
But
really
it's tough
short
with
one.
their psychotic friend who keeps muttering to himself, rocking
Yes, they'll
back
find
and
me,
forth.
and they'll find
back
us,
and
we'll
forth.
find together. There's no hiding from them. There's no hiding from
I
them.
just realized the guy
There's
in the bow tie
rattling
looks like a
as
Doctor
the
Who
wind is
character.
starting to pick up. Trees pecking at the side of
That
their
should
home.
be a nice crossover.
Then a
Cthulhu.
howl comes
Help.
from outside, followed by barking and whimpering.
Are those?
It's the dogs.
Are those
Something's
dogs?
happened to them. God damn it!
Not the
Tracy
dogs.
says, pulling out his gun and flashlight. You stay here. I'm going
Oh
out.
God, no.
There's a soft crunch.
That's
crunch
not
in
a
the
good
snow,
move.
The crackle of lightning, the howl of the wind.
So this is
the
actually
cry of the dogs.
an honest to
Tracy
God horror
creeps
story.
his
I
way
thought it was
over
going to be
to
a
the
joke,
door
but
of
no, it
some
seems
barn,
actually
which are
legitimate
rattling
scary.
and shaking violently as there's something on the inside pounding on it. He cautiously lifts the latch.
Well, I mean, if it was strong
unlocking
enough that
the
it can
door
get out.
As several of the dogs bolt out of the barn, running towards the woods.
Smart
They're
dogs.
gone.
Follow them.
Inside is the high-pitched whistling noise that bugs make. He turns his flashlight inside to see one of the dog's bodies on the floor.
Dude.
Several insects were on it, eating the corpse.
This is
There was some
disturbing.
bizarre type of bug that had a strange form, like fungus, with multiple sets of wings. It flew unlike any insect Tracy had
Oh,
ever
that's
seen before.
disturbing.
The insects, if you could call them that.
Oh,
Taking
okay.
bites out of the
Oh,
body
God,
of
looks
a
like
dead
bacon.
dog, lapping up the blood, swarming upon it like locusts, and they were ripping the flesh right from the bone. And I describe how outside, as the storm approaches, it started to sound clearer and has a hum, almost like a swarm. We cut back over to the house, where Walter is standing in
dude.
front, keeping a lookout. He sees
It's
Tracy
like
running
something out of The
towards him,
Mummy.
screaming at the top of his
Granted,
voice.
that was more Beatles, but still.
Back in the house! Get the frick back in the house! Don't be outside!
Or
As
hide
he's
in the
running
snow.
Walter's
You
direction,
dead.
A black cloud passes across the town, blocking the moon. Flesh-eating locusts are descending, landing on them, and taking bites out of their skin.
Oh, God.
The two rush into the house and slam the door shut, but the locusts start worming their way in through the cracks.
They're back again. Oh,
How have you survived?
The crazy
sun
person
don't
said,
take me.
wrapping the blankets around them, rocking back and forth even more violently this time. The two players ran through the house, sealing up the windows and doors with boards, but the bugs were working their way in through the slits in the wood. The house creaked.
I
as
gotta
the
say,
insects
Puffin, when he's
scratched
being
the
serious,
boards,
is a
pulling
really
them
damn
off.
good serious
Outside, the
narrator.
roar of the hive was deafening.
Actually a bit
As it
surprised.
swirled around the house, desperately trying to find a way in.
Also, just the swarm
After
of
hours
bugs.
and hours of fighting
Classic
them,
horror
killing
trope.
the ones that had gotten in and sealing up cracks, morning reluctantly arrived, and
So-
the bugs are chased off, traveling towards the mine. The
Mine.
players are both physically and mentally exhausted.
Okay, find dynamite,
We have
blow
to
that
go.
shit up.
We gotta get into that mine. We gotta get to the bottom of this.
With fire.
though?
Lots
After
of it.
that incident, the players both had lost enough sanity to both develop a permanent character quirk. Ever
Oh,
since
no.
then, for the rest of their lives, Walter would sometimes slap his body as if there was a bug there, even though there was nothing.
Yeah,
While
that's
Tracy
honestly justified at
would
this
sometimes
point.
see black specks on the horizon and be afraid of storms. The two players stood up with their harnesses and
Yeah,
helmets and
honestly, that
explored
wouldn't even be the
mines.
craziest thing. It's
What they
kind of
discover when
realistic
they
at where they're
enter
going.
is an underground forest with odd plants growing. Long ago, a meteor carrying life from a dead world arrived at Earth and became buried
Ooh.
underground. The plants had festered in the caves for years.
Oh god,
until
they literally
miners
just
had
did a
dug it
journey
up
to Planet
and
Earth,
uncovered
but right in
them.
a mountain.
The group rescued someone from the mine and detonated dynamite in the opening, causing the thing to collapse,
Yep.
sealing the monstrous things in there, to be locked away until some other unfortunate soul went looking for them again out of some bizarre sense of curiosity. Once out, they had low sanity, and their missing person, David, was completely mentally checked out. The group traveled out of Copperton.
Honestly, that'd probably be the
resting for
safest way to
night
be at
in
this
the
point.
woods. However, what they didn't know was that there was something else that was wandering the forest.
What?
Something that had escaped from the mine before they detonated it,
What?
which hunted them that night. They encountered an alien creature known as Xylan, walking towards David. The creature took its long fingers.
Oh god.
and stabbed
Oh,
them
sorry.
through
Just
David's
the
eyes,
giant.
And they emerged out through the back of his skull.
Oh.
Panicked, they hid away. But the creature seemed to be content just with David, not noticing the others. It turned towards the edge of the cliff and started
Anyone else here
walking
play FGO and have
walking.
horrible,
But
horrible
instead of
thoughts with
descending,
this?
he rose up and up toward the starry night sky. The figure became smaller and smaller, drifting toward one star before its body merged with the blackness of space and vanished. The players returned
Yeah,
back
that's
to the
fucked up.
city. In the aftermath of the incident, their crazy friend was taken into an insane asylum and was treated. He couldn't talk much, but he would sometimes draw strange images in his journal of a bizarre creature on a moonlit night, of some event that even words were too much for him, and would
Oh, so
complain
the
about
bugs weren't the thing that
noises,
got everyone.
all the noises, and would start to panic if
They
he
probably
heard
just
clicking
ate the
from air
scraps.
conditioning or a fan. Sometimes he would take his blanket and stuff it under the door or around a window. The nurses didn't bother him too much about it. After all, he seemed to sleep better like that. Dick Tracy started to get sick and was admitted to the hospital, treated for a baffling disease that the doctors just couldn't seem to recognize.
What?
Though in his fevered state, he'd muttered out something, "Infected aliens. Infected, there's no cure. It's from the darkness between the stars." But he clearly wasn't in his right mind.
No,
For 1 month
but he's
he
also
grew
probably
sicker,
right, at least for this.
sicker day by day, before finally
Huh.
fighting it off. And it took him another month to
Oh,
fully
he actually got
recover.
better. I
Just his dice, they were not on his side that time. Walter kept David's book.
Oh,
that
so it
had
wasn't
notes
him
about
just
the
killing off,
mine
it was just the guy with
and
bad dice.
a strange one. The only other one who knew much was David, but he had perished that night on the cold mountain.
Yeah,
top,
you usually have eyes
and
put out the
anything
back
else
of your
he
head would
knew
do
went
that.
with him. Instead of reading it, Walter just decided to keep it shut.
Honestly, smartest move.
Sometimes, late at night, out of curiosity,
Fire?
he would open it up and read a page or two, just
Why?
to quickly snap it shut again. The book would just bring back bad memories and
There's a fireplace.
strange
Use
dreams.
it.
Later on, decades after, Several investigators were sent out to figure out what had happened at Copperton after
Oh,
the cold
God.
case was reopened. Hopefully, with any luck, they would find nothing, give up,
This
and
is
walk
what the
away.
heavy flamer is for.
But if they were unfortunate to have someone who was just a little too curious, they might uncover something that should have been laid to rest.
Yeah.
But that's a tale for another day, and that was where that session ended.
Dude. Also, I love the creepy background music. That's just... Is that a synth? And that was apparently another Call of Cthulhu that he actually played through. And I know I mentioned it all the times, but I didn't know Ben was that good. Like, that Puffin Force in general was that good at really doing dark, horrifying narration about truly terrifying things. And this is just like the brief overview he does just for YouTube. I kind of wish we had like a recording if he maybe did a live stream of that event, because I would love to see him really getting into the details of just how fucked up it was. Like, it's like chilling. I don't enjoy horror, but apparently when I can speak, I can actually enjoy it more. He did a really good job of keeping his voice at that level. It's just below loud, but you keep it at a constant, steady beat, where you just raise your voice slightly at the end of each word, dragging it out to add emphasis, which generally in normal conversation is stupid and it sounds like you're an idiot, and in my case, accurate. But for horror, it drags your reader's attention, and the fact that he was reading in such a way where he was emphasizing the words and it's not something you immediately think of when you're speaking. You have to make a point to do it. And he just fell into it. I gotta give him a lot of respect just for the work there on portraying the story accurately in such a really good, menacing tone of voice. I'm actually just impressed with that. Also, I might be losing my voice. So for everyone out there's like, yay, he'll shut up. Don't worry, I'll record in advance, and then you have plenty of me to speak until I lose it and I can't record anymore. Ha 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 ha, suffer. Yeah, so just, it's like, I don't think I would like it because I'm a coward, and if I was actually there, I'd be freaking out and panicking, and my character would too, but I'm actually me. Yeah. But the thought that just rolling the dice will actually have long-term effects that you can move through in the game, just that little bit at the end where his dice really didn't like him, he was getting sicker from an alien plague, and then it got better because the dice finally got better. But I like that you can have the story moving along at such a fast pace that you're not doing like every little action, which you can do, but then you can keep rolling to see how things go on long-term events, like over the course of weeks. And that would make for an interesting storytelling experience. Oh man, that would be fun. All the same there, everyone. You guys know the deal. Link below, original video. Hit it up, because that was awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.